Warning: this video contains spoilers of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Watch it at your own discretion. So one of the main points of the Star Wars story has always been the prophecy of the Chosen One, which would bring balance to the Force. It is known that the Chosen One was Anakin Skywalker, and indeed, at the end of each trilogy you could say that, in a way, he brings balance to the Force. In Episode 3, Jedi are purged, bringing the number of light side users of the Force and dark side users of the Force to a much more balanced number, bringing the balance to the Force. And in Episode 6, Anakin kills Emperor Palpatine, thus ending the reign of terror of the Sith that had become too strong since they now have a huge empire, and once again bringing back the balance to the Force. But did Anakin really bring the true balance back to the Force? You see, at the end of Episode 3, the balance wasn't truly reached. And this is true in two different point of views. First one being that the Sith now had an empire, and their influence toward the citizens of the universe was much stronger than any light side user. The second one being that many Jedi successfully avoided the Great Jedi Purge, and are still hiding in the universe. This means that although now the number of Jedi are much smaller, they are still the majority. At the end of Episode 6, Anakin kills Palpatine and then dies, meaning that now it is unbalanced once again towards the light side of the Force. In neither case, the balance was truly restored. Does that mean Anakin was not the chosen one? No, he still was the chosen one, but he wasn't the only one. You see, the most accepted theory suggests that Shmi Skywalker got pregnant because of Palpatine using his Force powers, thus creating the first chosen one. But for one to be able to bring balance, they must understand what it feels like to be on the other side. So Anakin could bring the balance purely from the light side. The problem being that in the end, he made a deep dive into the dark side, which didn't happen in our cause either, and that's because he was missing one very important element. A person, so to speak. Although the Jedi version of the prophecy is the most known and accepted one, there were another versions too. I found some of them at Wikipedia, so let me read them for you. The Jedi prophecy. A Jedi will come to destroy the Sith and bring balance to the Force. The Sith prophecy. The Sith Ari, the perfect being who would one day arise, one who was free of all restrictions, the ultimate Sith. The Sith Ari, as it was said, would rise to the pinnacle of supreme power to lead the Sith, but then destroy them, only to make them stronger than ever. The High Snake Prophecy. The High Snake Cult, a separate dark side faction from the Order of the Sith Lords, predicated on unrestrained chaos and anarchy, feature a similar interpretation of the prophecy of death of the Jedi Order. However, in their case, the prophecy entailed a black armored figure proceeding to lead the High Snake Cult army to bring chaos to the galaxy, and that the figure would decapitate 3 snakes, with 2 of them dying while the third, symbolizing chaos, would be immortal. You see, since Palpatine in theory is Anakin's father, and since the Chosen One is literally born from a woman that got pregnant in a natural way, it is possible that any offsprings coming from either him or Anakin's lineage would also be Chosen Ones, creating 2 different lineages of Chosen Ones: the Skywalkers, representing the light side of the Force, and the Palpatines, representing the dark side of the Force. Anakin Skywalker failed to bring the true balance because he was missing the other half, a person from his generation from the Palpatine lineage, to balance him out. Without it, once he stepped in the dark side, he kept going until it was irreversible. Luke barely managed to escape from that fate, because at the end Anakin was still the one who finished Palpatine off. Fast forward in the sequel trilogy, we have Rey Palpatine and Ben Skywalker, each following a different side of the Force, each struggling a lot to keep going on that side, and each trying to convince the other to come to the other side. They are both chosen ones, with Rey naturally having dark side powers within her, but deep diving into the light side, and Ben naturally having light side powers within him, but deep diving into the dark side. Without one another, they would have followed the same path as Anakin, but this time, the will of the Force understood what had to be done. Rey and Ben worked like yin-yang, following the will of the Force, balancing each other, showing to one another that both sides had benefits and could coexist. And by the end of the Rise of Skywalker, they bond together where both heal one another, symbolically saying that they have become as one, perfectly balanced beings. The end of Episode 9 fulfills all 3 prophecies I described above. The Jedi prophecy, because Palpatine embodied all of the Sith and Rey embodied all of the Jedi, destroying the Sith with one final blow, thus creating the Jedi prophecy, fulfilling the Jedi prophecy. The Sith prophecy, because Palpatine tried making Rey to become the ultimate Sith by killing him, and not only that, but because she became free of all the restrictions at the end, by mastering the true balance of the Force. And since she comes from a Sith lineage, that could mean that she became the ultimate Sith in a way, while destroying all other Siths in the process. And lastly, the High Snake Prophecy, with each snake being Rey, Ben, and Palpatine. This prophecy in specific could also be referenced in the movie earlier on because of the scene where Rey heals a snake, which could be referencing to this prophecy. In the end, two of them, which is Ben and Palpatine, die, with the third one becoming mortal, which is Rey. But that immortality comes from what Rey represents now, not from her life itself, because she's a Skywalker now. The chosen one in the end was Skywalker, not Anakin Skywalker, but Skywalkers as a whole, a lineage of perfectly balanced Force users that took 3 generations to fulfill that duty, but now will serve as the balanced keepers of the galaxy, with Rey passing the torch for the next generation of her family. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you like it. I'm Blue Link, see you next time.